When the Artemis II astronauts launch toward the moon, we'll stream their 4K telemetry and vitals seamlessly from deep space. In today's era of international lunar-based competition, constant orbital surveillance, and commercial satellite data sharing, tracking spacecraft feels almost effortless. But rewind to the 1960s, at the height of the Cold War, and getting telemetry wasn't a matter of tuning in. It was a high-stakes global spy game. Welcome back to Declassified Mind. Today we're digging into the forgotten space archaeology of the U.S. intelligence community's most audacious attempts to hack the Soviet cosmos. The Soviet Union's main nerve center for tracking deep space objects was the Simferopol Earth Satellite Tracking and Communication Center in Crimea. This facility featured a lunadrome, a simulated lunar surface used to test the first Soviet Lunokhod rovers, and served as the primary downlink for Soviet space missions. The CIA and NSA wanted exactly what was beaming down to Simferopol, but capturing it required building a massive, classified net across the entire planet. To manage that effort, the U.S. established the Space Surveillance SIGINT Planning Board, SPACOL, and in 1964 activated the Defense Special Missile and Astronautics Center, DEFSMAC. The dragnet was global. Modified RB-47 and A-3D spy planes, sea-based trackers like the USNS Valdez and the Vandenberg, and massive ground radars like the FPS-17 at Diyarbakir, Turkey. Under this initiative, the NSA deployed the Bankhead ground stations in Peshawar, Chitose, and Sinop to surveil the skies. And meanwhile, the CIA's Office of ELINT established clandestine listening posts right on their adversary's doorstep, in Iran. Known as TACKSMAN 1, positioned near the Shah's summer palace, and TACKSMAN 2, built on a remote mountaintop near Kapkan, these sites put American spies within striking distance of the Soviet testing grounds at Turatam and Sari Shagan, close enough to intercept telemetry from anti-ballistic missiles and low Earth orbit satellites, close enough to hear things the Soviets never intended anyone outside the room to hear. But TACKSMAN and Bankhead were built for missiles. For the void, the U.S. needed to reach much further. Enter Project Stonehouse. Established in 1965 at Kagnu Station in Asmara, Ethiopia, this top-secret listening post was positioned to catch the radio waves spilling over the horizon as Soviet spacecraft transmitted back to Crimea. According to Document 30 of the Declassified Archives, titled Space Surveillance SIGINT Program, published in 1980, the NSA meticulously planned and equipped this facility to intercept space communications before the Soviets even realized they were being heard. The site bristled with massive 85-foot and 150-foot dish antennas, and it was so strategically vital that the Ethiopian emperor leveraged the American presence there to extract ongoing military and economic aid. Even secrecy has a price tag. The intelligence gathered wasn't just cold, hard machine code, it was profoundly human. By intercepting Soviet telemetry and VHF signals, U.S. analysts were quite literally inside the capsule with the cosmonauts. They listened to the private, unedited voices of Soviet pioneers adrift in the dark void. They tracked their respiration. They heard the erratic, rapid thumping of heartbeats as those men navigated the unknown. The sound of human fear at the edge of the world, playing through American headsets in a facility the world had never heard of. As outlined in Document 21, Stonehouse, first U.S. collector of signals from 1975, this facility successfully intercepted signals from early Soviet lunar probes like Luna 9, pulling the deeply human reality of the space race directly into American ears. But there was a ghost in the machine, a phantom signal that drove analysts crazy for decades. The U.S. knew the Soviets were using a specialized broadband link to transmit high-resolution planetary images and science data down to Simferopol, but the NSA couldn't find the frequency. Document 28, an internal CIA article written by James D. Burke titled The Missing Link, published in 1978, details this exasperating 16-year search. Analysts scoured hardware exhibits, studying the waveguide of the Zond 3 probe at Expo 67, examining the antenna feeds of Venera 9. They used radar from Diyarbakir to know exactly when the spacecraft were transmitting. But finding the precise frequency in the vastness of the electromagnetic spectrum was like finding a needle in a cosmic haystack. Except the haystack was infinite, and the needle was moving. When civil unrest forced Stonehouse to close in 1975, the CIA improvised a substitute search plan using a former NASA deep space station. Still, nothing. So how did they finally crack it? They enlisted the alien hunters. As revealed in Document 49, The Longest Search, from 2003, the NSA borrowed a highly specialized radio frequency interference van from the SETI program at Goldstone, California. This repurposed alien hunting technology could monitor 64,000 radio channels simultaneously. 64,000! The same equipment pointed at the stars in search of non-human intelligence was now pointed at human spacecraft, because after 16 years, that was what it took. And it worked. Coordinated by TACKSMAN, the team waited for a short transmission window. On November 9, 1983, a TACKSMAN teletypewriter printed 3 words: "We have it." Document 40, The Missing Link revealed, confirmed in 1984 that the 21-year-old mystery was finally solved. U.S. intelligence had successfully intercepted the elusive 5-centimeter wavelength signal from 2 Soviet spacecraft orbiting Venus, a world away in every sense. Eventually, geopolitics closed these analog windows into the Soviet cosmos. The Iranian Revolution forced the CIA to abandon the TACKSMAN mountaintop sites forever. The loss of Peshawar, the loss of Stonehouse, these weren't just operational setbacks. They reshaped global intelligence collection permanently. Project Stonehouse proves something fundamental about human nature. The lengths we'll go to uncover each other's secrets are as boundless as space itself. But it leaves us with something harder to shake. If we spent decades, billions of dollars, a global infrastructure of spy planes and mountain stations, and borrowed alien hunting vans, just to listen to the private heartbeats and whispers of our human rivals drifting through the vacuum of space, what happens when the voices we inevitably intercept out there are no longer human?